Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depends on where you're logged in from. Before I jump into breathing, I just want to reflect something here. We are a community of Swasthya warriors. Warrior is a word we often give to people who are in the borders, army, people who fight enemies, who keep us safe. And fair enough, they are truly warriors. But our community got established to celebrate those warriors who are doing the same kind of a role at home. Maybe they are doing that in the kitchen. Maybe they are doing that while raising their children. Maybe they are doing that by working a job and providing for the family. Maybe they are doing that by living a regular life. But these people do not get any awards. They don't get medals. And their victories go unheard. And what could be a source of inspiration? See, actually, when our army forces, people in the armed forces, they receive an award. It inspires many young people to join the army and fight for the country. And we decided that we will award these people who are unsung heroes, like Jokina, who came and shared her beautiful story. Not an easy story at all, but what happens is when we listen to her story, it gives a perspective in our life that my life is probably a little bit better than her life. She probably has to deal with way more stuff than I do. So if she can make those changes to improve our health, maybe I should be able to do it as well. Maybe I'm giving way too many excuses. That realization, when it hits, my journey can take a different turn and my health can become better. And if you're a lady, in fact, your health becomes better. 3 or 4 other people in the family's health also becomes better, actually. So we have an award ceremony called Spotlight on April 5th. And people like Jokina, who shared, she's already been nominated for this award ceremony. We want to be the Oscars of wellness. We want to really recognize people who did something for themselves. But because that story needs to be shared, it is never shared, it is lost. Those stories of victory are lost, actually. We need to hear these stories. In fact, I would highly recommend all of you to keep logging in every week, because I believe this series is better than any Netflix series you can ever watch, because you will get inspired. And then I will come, or somebody from my team will come, and we will do some heavy lifting for you. Okay. We will do all the research. See, none of us are experts, but we believe that together it's easier. Okay. There is so much of information out there today. Information is not the problem. The problem is what information to use, when to use, how to use, and whom to use. That heavy lifting we will do for you. We will do the research, we will do the studies, we will do all the work, and we will come here and we will share with you a few things that you can do every week to improve the quality of your life. That's our promise to all of you. Right. So now, without much ado, let me jump into the topic. And can I see some more videos? Can I see if some of you are breathing well? Videos are off. I cannot see that. If you can switch on the videos, let me see who is breathing out there. Yeah. Let me share my screen and we'll dive right in, guys. By the way, the Spotlight Award ceremony is on April 5th. And if you are anywhere near Bangalore, you should come attend it. And if you are a client, you should ask your coach for nominating you if you have gotten the results. Tomorrow is the last day for nomination for this round of award ceremony. And we are so looking forward to celebrate this success that nobody celebrates outside, but we want to celebrate with all of you. Right. So I hope my screen is visible to all of you. Correct? Great. So can you give me a moment? Yeah. The breath advantage, all of us breathe, but today I want to talk about a few things that I want us to be informed about few topics. At a high level, we all know, but let's go into a little bit of a detail and understand a few more details. Okay, question for all of you. Please use the chat. How long can you last without food? How long can you survive without food? How many days, months, minutes, 3 days, 30 days, a week, 12 days? About 10 years back, I would have said 1 hour. That's how I was obese, frequent eating anyways. Usually humans can last about 15, 20, 25 days without food. Okay. How long can you live without water? This cannot be that long. How long can you live without water? I don't have the science for how long exactly humans can survive, but you shouldn't try to survive without water. It's very important for your health. Now, how long can you survive without oxygen? Has anybody tested that? I mean, this is one test we can do. How long can we survive without oxygen? No, actually, if you can't breathe for a few minutes, your brain will die. So it is very less scope to live without oxygen. So we take approximately 25,000 breaths per day. Why do we take breathing for granted and we care for it the least? We have fixed the diet, no sugar, low carb, no gluten, no dairy, multiple things we have done. We will be careful. We'll read the ingredients, everything. Drinking, we have given up alcohol. We have given up sugary drinks. We have taken care of a lot of things. But what have you done for your breathing? And the people say that, zinda hona, why should I bother about it? Correct? It is not about being alive. It is about being alive every minute that we are alive. It's not just surviving. It is about bringing that vitality in our life. So I want to ask all of you a few questions. Is oxygen good? Okay, we'll come back to the Bollywood mode. Oxygen, hero or villain, according to you? Oxygen, hero or villain? What do you guys think? Hero? Some people are saying both. Very interesting. Hero. Okay, heavy breathing is healthy. How many of you believe this? True or false? Heavy breathing is healthy. Some people say heavy breathing. Okay, mixed reaction. Most people saying no, some people saying true. Okay. Don't hold your breath. Some people say don't hold your breath. True, false. What should we do? False, true, no. Okay, mixed. Reverse the aging process by taking control of your breath. True or false? Reverse the aging process by taking control of your breath. Now, this one, everybody is saying true. Okay, good. Okay, this is another interesting question. Carbon dioxide, CO2, is a toxic waste gas. It's a metabolic byproduct of breathing, right? So get rid of it. That is why we exhale. Correct? Is this statement true or false? Carbon dioxide is toxic. It's a metabolic waste that gets generated due to the breathing process. So that's why we exhale it. Is it right? A lot of people are saying true. Okay, let me answer this. Is oxygen good? Mostly good, but I will tell you today why it is bad also. Heavy breathing is healthy? No, heavy breathing is not healthy. Don't hold your breath. Actually, it is good to hold your breath. It has health benefits, and we will cover that today. Reverse the aging process by taking control. Yes, you can reverse the aging process by taking control of your breath. And that science was in India itself. Now, Indians have forgotten, and Westerners are taking that, copywriting it, and they're teaching it to us through programs and courses. It's high time we wake up and realize the knowledge that was there in our culture, in our tradition, in our history, and then go back to it and understand it. Carbon dioxide is a toxic waste gas, so get rid of it. Actually, I will tell you today why carbon dioxide is a very important gas. Okay, you will be astonished with the information I will share with you today. Just be attentive for the next 15 minutes. Lao Tzu says a perfect human breathes as though they don't breathe at all. That means breathing has to be soft, silent, not laborious. Nobody should know that you're breathing. It has to be, that is how a perfect breath is. Okay, have you heard people say breath is the mirror to your health? Have you heard people say breath is the mirror to your health? Why do they say that? Why do people say breath is the mirror to your health? Okay, I can make out when somebody is anxious, when there is an anxiety attack, when somebody is stressed out, I can make out by looking at them. You know how? By their breathing. How do people breathe when they are having anxious or anxiety attacks or they're very tensed? How do they breathe? very fast. Have you noticed that? And you can actually hear them breathe sometimes. You can hear them. They're very fast, laborious. And have you noticed they breathe through their mouth? Some of you breathe through your mouth when you get tensed. What happens when somebody is very calm? How do they breathe? When somebody is very calm, somebody who is very spiritually advanced, maybe somebody who's very calm, how do they breathe? Actually, you can't make out their breathing. It's very light, correct? It's very slow. It's very deep. Exactly all the words that you're using. We all know this. Now, the question is, how do we implement this? Because when we are stressed out, we cannot, at that time, we are not like, okay, I am very stressed out. Let me check how is my breathing. It doesn't occur to us. It is better to create practices in our life so that when we get anxious, when we get stressed out, which is definitely going to happen, then we know what to do because we have trained for it. Our body will use that muscle memory and automatically deploy the practices that will help us to relax. Let's go there. Go to this. Pranayama. Everybody knows pranayama, right? Basic information we all know. Let's take 2 minutes to understand how did the pranayama study come in. Actually, pranayama study evolved because of study of animals. Okay. Elephants, turtles, and whales have very slow breathing rate. They can breathe, their breath rate is only 1 breath per minute. Can you type on the chat what is your breath rate per minute? If you know, how many breaths per minute do you take? Do you know that? Can you type on chat? Tanvi, I'll answer that question. You know, when we breathe with opening the mouth, what happens? I will explain that. Just be here with me for the next 10 minutes. 18 to 20, 50 to 60. 50 to 60 is the heartbeat. If you breathe 50 to 60 per minute, then something is wrong. I'm talking about breath rate, not the heart rate. Okay. Anyways, an average human being has around 15, 18. Some people have 20. It's not, I mean, we'll come to what is an ideal breath rate. But turtles, elephants, and whales breathe only 1 breath per minute. And what is the impact on their health? Bowhead whale, whales, they can hold breath for up to 2 hours at a time and they can live up to 200 years. Actually, animals in the animal kingdom, whichever animal breathes less, I mean, the breathing rate is slow and they can hold their breath for a longer period of time, they live a little longer. So that is why in ancient wisdom, people kept telling, your breaths will determine your life. Everybody is given a certain amount of breath. Once you are done, you live, correct? So obviously, if I have to live longer, I have to learn how to breathe properly. Now, why am I talking about it? Because I have been working on this for the last 3 to 4 months very sincerely. So we are not experts here, but we are very sincere in what we do. We are authentic. Now let's come to the other end of the spectrum, rats and mice. Rats and mice, they have about 150 to 300 breaths per minute. 150 to 300 breaths per minute. Can you believe it? And that is why they can't hold their breath. And that is why they live only 1 to 2 years. Now let's look at this nice animal here. Breath. I need the mobile. There is something called as a naked mole rat, okay, which is an anomaly of rats actually. It is a variety of rat, but unlike other rats, this lives up to 30 years and scientists have not been able to induce a disease in this rat. Can you believe it? According to research, scientists have not been able to induce any disease in this rat and they live free of disease for 30 years. Normal rats live 1 to 2 years. This rat lives 30 years. Why? They live underground. So this rat will teach us today how to breathe. Can you believe? We will learn about breathing from a rat today. They live underground in a hypoxic environment. What does it mean? Where there is less oxygen and more carbon dioxide. So they have learned with evolution how to hold breath up to 18 minutes at a time. Naturally, their lifespans are extended. So longevity, if you actually look at it, is breath retention plus rate of breath. I mean, for all the engineers out there, if you want to calculate how long we will live, maybe we will have to work on the breath retention and the rate of breath. So let's dive in and understand how to do this. Okay, question for all of you. 15 to 18 breaths per minute, Tanvi, it is involuntary, yes, but we can train, we can have some practices to bring it down if we want to. That we will discuss today. Okay, who are the worst breathers in the animal kingdom? Can you type on the chat? Who are the worst breathers in the animal kingdom? Dog, yeah, actually, yes. Who are the others? Mice, I just told you. Actually, humans are one of the worst breathers in the animal kingdom. Humans. We'll talk more about that. Let's understand breathing. We'll go back to 7th standard, middle school biology in 1 minute, and we will understand breathing. What happens when we breathe? Air passes through the nose, and that is why it is important to breathe through the nose. I'll tell you now. When the air passes through the nose, it gets filtered. And the nose, if you see, it is not like a huge, massive cylinder. There's a limited space to go in. So when we breathe through the mouth, the passage that the air takes to go in is different. So it doesn't hit the blood at all. We have to learn deep breathing, which we will talk today. But when we breathe through the nose, the air enters the lungs where, you can imagine a cruise ship there, staying there. In the lungs, it goes to a place called, every minute docking station. There is a cruise ship which has red blood cells. It docks there. The oxygen molecules enter the red blood cells. It is pumped into the bloodstream, and there it supplies oxygen to every organ. And then once it supplies oxygen, it takes carbon dioxide. They occupy the same empty seat which has been created in the cruise ship, and it comes back to the lungs, and it is expelled out of the body. That is a normal process. Now, listen to this. Our body is a collection of tubes. Okay. Throat and sinuses are wide tubes. Capillaries are thin tubes. Tissues of lungs are very thin tubes. If you line up all these tubes in an airway, it will cover 2,400 kilometers. So breathing is very critical because this much is involved in our body. Now let's dissect breathing and understand inhale and exhale. Let's look at inhale first. When you inhale, oxygen goes in. We all know oxygen is good. So let me talk to you about how oxygen is also a villain. Oxygen can create oxidative stress in the body. What does it mean? Oxygen creates energy in the body. That's why we need oxygen. It is like a fire which burns, and it produces byproducts which can damage the cells. It is called free radical damage, which happens. So for all the engineers, this is the equation for you. For the rest of the people, forget it. You take in oxygen, in the mitochondria, energy is created, glucose comes in, and the byproducts are carbon dioxide, water, and some byproducts. And that is what is causing oxidative stress in the body. Okay. A normal cell is on the picture on the screen. When excess, free radical damage happens, it is like cutting an apple and keeping it in the open, it turns brown. That is what is called free radical damage. And oxidative stress is a big part of the aging process. That is the reason why we age. So when we don't breathe properly, we age faster. That is the science behind it. So if we learn how to breathe through the nose, not through the mouth, if you are breathing through the mouth, it's a big mistake because this pathway is altered. Your air does not go through the same pathway when it goes through the nose. Research has also revealed, there is a book on this. It's called Breath by Nestor. It's a good read. If you want, you can pick it up and read. He did a research, and what he did was he looked at the skulls of ancient historic people who used to have diets which are rich in meat and foods that need to be chewed a lot. So he correlated that people who chew a lot of food, they have better airways to breathe. I'll come to this, chewing and breathing. There's a lot of science behind this. What I'm trying to tell you is, please do not breathe through the mouth, because mouth breathing can change your structure. So if you want to be handsome and beautiful, breathe through the nose. Okay, now let's understand this. All of you can do this. Can you place one hand on this picture like this woman has done? Put one hand on the chest, one hand on your abdomen, and take a deep breath. Breath has to be silent. It has to be smooth. It has to be rhythmic. It has to be through the nose only. And it has to be diaphragmatic. What is the meaning of it? When you breathe in, I hope your abdomen is going up first, not your chest. That is called deep breathing. If your chest is moving first, you're not breathing properly. You will have to learn how to breathe through your diaphragm. So your abdomen has to go up first. So if you lie down on your stomach, you will probably notice, or you can keep a book on your stomach, and when you're lying down, your book has to go up and down first. Then the chest has to follow. That is how we are supposed to breathe. Okay, let's understand exhale. Inhaling is easy. Key to breathing, lung expansion. Lung expansion will determine how long we will live. And long life is exhalation. So the life is in exhalation. Let's understand this. Okay, carbon dioxide, villain or hero? We discussed this. Let's understand a little bit more. Carbon dioxide plays the most important role in producing energy in your cells. Okay. How? Carbon dioxide signals your blood to drop off the oxygen. What does it mean? How many of you have done some weightlifting, some workout? When you workout, what does workout mean? Workout means that you are stretching your muscles, correct? You're flexing your muscle somewhere. Even if you're running, your some of your muscles are flexing. What happens when it does that? When you breathe, if you have a good carbon dioxide tolerance, your carbon dioxide levels at different parts of your body will indicate to your blood to drop the oxygen there. So it is very crucial if carbon dioxide tolerance is low for us. If you are mouth breathing, if you are hyperventilating, anxiety. Have you noticed when you are having anxiety attacks, stressed out, you actually become fatigued more? Have you noticed that? You will lose energy very quickly. Why do you lose energy very quickly? Because you lose all of carbon dioxide. When you are hyperventilating, when you are breathing through the mouth, you are releasing every ounce of carbon dioxide outside. You're extinguishing your carbon dioxide reserves. And when you do that, oxygen does not get dropped off at vital points. So it actually leads to low oxygenation and disease. This is the reason why people said breathe through your nose. Don't breathe through your mouth. Because oxygen does not get delivered to where it needs to get delivered. And that is why we get cramps, we get, all these issues when we are working out. Okay, tomorrow when you do a workout, observe very carefully. Are you breathing through your mouth when you're working out? You're doing it wrong. You will have to breathe through your nose. Exhale through your mouth, but breathe through your nose. Please observe this, because when you're doing heavy workouts, if you're only breathing through your mouth, after the workout, throughout the day, you will feel fatigued. Have you felt that, anyone of you? When you breathe through your mouth, after the workout, you feel very tired throughout the day. Actually, workouts are supposed to make us more energetic. Why are we feeling tired? Maybe you are breathing through your mouth, and that needs to change. When you slow breathe, you have optimum energy production. How does science tell this? Science, according to science, you raise your carbon dioxide if you can hold your breath. So when you learn how to hold your breath, that is why all the pranayama techniques, which is there, will come to that, has, used the science very well to help us improve our breath. When you hold your breath, your carbon dioxide tolerance improves in your body, which means oxygen gets delivered to where it needs to get delivered. It improves overall health. So breath hold time, which is a crucial metric that we need to understand, measures how well your body gets oxygen. So you breathe slowly, you have longer exhales, you get more carbon dioxide. How many of you have heard this terminology called VO2 max? If you're an athlete, VO2 max is something that you normally keep measuring. It is a measurement of highest oxygen consumption, and it is the best gauge of cardiorespiratory fitness. So when you breathe less, you increase VO2 max. When you start doing breathing techniques, your VO2 max start increasing. You become more athletic. Your endurance increases. This is something which is beautiful, guys. It was there in our culture. We have forgotten it. When we say a prayer, has anyone said a very fast prayer? Bhagwan, ye kar lo mujhe, all this. No. Prayer is usually slow. Have you noticed that? Prayer is slow. We do Om chanting, right? You go to a spiritual retreat, you go through any meditation technique, they teach you Om chanting. Why do they teach Om chanting? Om is actually AUM, Om, correct? When you do Om chanting properly, it is 6 seconds long with a 6 seconds pause. And according to research, the perfect breath is 5.5 breaths per minute. This is research. Okay. 5.5 breaths per minute. This is fact. This is data. When you do that Om chanting, it is helping you to achieve your perfect breath. That is why we chant. We don't chant to please the God to give us all the answers to the prayers that we have. We chant to get perfect breath. Why do we overbreathe? Mouth breathing, I told you, it will change the structure of your skeleton itself. Not in maybe over 200 years. It is very visible and evident. But when you overeat, also you mouth breathe. Why does that happen? When you eat more than what you need to eat, all the forces are sent to the digestive system to create digestion, which means you need more oxygen. So you start breathing through your mouth. So we should never overeat. Stop eating after you're 80% full to avoid mouth breathing. Lack of exercise, poor quality sleep, oversleeping. If you are sleeping 9 hours a day, unless you are a child, you are doing it wrong. If you are oversleeping, again, you will mouth breathe. Processed food disease, that's a mutual relationship there. Impact of stress on breathing. Right nostril is a gas pedal. Okay. So actually, I noticed this. My nose is a little bent. So I usually breathe more from my right nostril. What happens when you breathe only through your right? It is like a gas pedal. It is called, see, our body has a nice balance, left and right. Sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system. One nervous system which will make your body alert, body gets hot, cortisol secretes, BP and heart rate increases, you're ready for war, you're ready to do the work. So when you're doing a presentation, when you're doing a critical job, you need to have this alertness. Right nostril. When you breathe through right nostril, your body gets into fight or flight mode and you get more alert, you get more energy. But when you breathe through left nostril, it does the opposite. It relaxes your body. That is why Anulom Vilom was a beautiful practice in pranayama where you breathe through the left and you breathe in through the left, breathe out through the right, take in again through the right and breathe out through the left. Please implement this for 3 to 5 minutes when you wake up every morning, because it will balance your breath. Your breath will become more coherent. We call it coherent breathing. It is a balanced way to start the day. You're balancing your nervous system, so you're not very alert, you're not very you're sort of balancing it. Nitric oxide. Now, I don't know if you have heard of it. When you breathe through your nose, it releases nitric oxide. What is nitric oxide? It is a very powerful antioxidant, antiviral, antibacterial, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory. So all antis, it is so powerful. When you breathe through the mouth, no nitric oxide. Nitric oxide helps in delivering oxygen to the cells, just like carbon dioxide. It influences your immune system. That is why some COVID treatments use a sprays which has nitric oxide. And how do you generate nitric oxide? Just by breathing through your nose properly. You can generate enough nitric oxide which can kill any virus or bacteria that can get generated. When we chant Om, we produce nitric oxide. Humming produces nitric oxide. That is why we hum, when you close your ears, there are pranayama techniques where you can do that. You hum. And the reason we are taught to hum is because we increase nitric oxide production in our body, which acts in so many beautiful ways. Okay, this is the research. This is the guy I was talking about. He's according to his research, he said that 95% of modern diet is soft. Our ancestors used to chew the food for hours every day. Their mouths, teeth, and throat. Have you seen in some, if you travel widely, some people have very pronounced jaws, very open, faces, strong jaws, and very well-defined features of their face. Probably they eat foods which require a lot of chewing. Probably we are drinking smoothies mostly. Probably we are just gulping things down. We are not chewing food. So please chew the food 20 to 30 times before you swallow. It is good for your breathing. Okay. Lack of chewing will increase your snoring, stuffed noses, clogged airways, narrow face, and crooked teeth. So chewing has an impact on breathing. So let's keep that in mind. The yogi's life is not measured by the number of his days, but by the number of his breaths. Very popular personality, the person who established the yoga, B.K. Iyengar, said this. Perfect breathing. I come back to this at the end. Perfect breathing is 5.5 breaths per minute. Okay. Which is 5.5 inhales, 5.5 second exhales. So you breathe in and out 5.5 times in a minute. We do it 3 times, guys. Most average adults do it 3 times more. So we cannot be aware of it all through the day. But I recommend, breathe. I recommend all of us to have routines in our life where we are at least, dedicating 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the noon, 5 minutes in the evening. Implement. So morning, do Anulom and Vilom. That's a good practice. Breathing in through the left nostril, breathing out through the right nostril. Again, breathing in through the right and exhaling through the left, 3 to 5 minutes. If you have stress, there is something called as box breathing. It's a 4-4-4-4. What does it mean? To the count of 4, breathe in, hold the breath for the count of 4, breathe out through the count of 4, and hold the breath again for the count of 4. It's a box, it's a square kind of a thing. 4-4-4-4. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. Okay. Yes, I mean, you can really go deep dive into it. There are hours of material. This is not the place or the time to go into that detail. We're just talking about some things that normal people can do, even if you don't know much about it. Okay. In the night, you want to sleep peacefully, try it 4-7-8 breathing. 4 with 4 counts, inhale 4 times with the count of 4, hold your breath to the count of 7, exhale with the count of 8. If you notice, I tried this also, I've been trying this. If you're able to hold your breath for a longer period of time, you'll notice that your oxygen saturation comes down. It's usually 97-98%. You can put an oximeter and actually measure it. It will start coming down as you hold your breath. Don't worry about it, because it's supposed to happen. It's a state of hypoxia. That's a soma technique. That's another technique in breathing. You deliberately train yourself to hold your breath for a little longer than what you can. As your oxygen saturation comes down, your brain enters a state where you are really, really calm. How many of you have a trouble in doing meditation? You are like, thoughts aa jata hai yaar. I try to sit and, I'm trying to tell my mind, stop putting, thoughts into my mind. You're like that person. Start putting effort into breathing. Start doing breathing, because the moment you get into breathing practices, you will start counting your breaths. That itself will bring the focus away from the thoughts that you will normally get. So start using breathing as a method which will start to calm you down. When you hold your breath, you can measure your heartbeat. It will start lowering. When you try to hold your breath, after exhalation, when you hold your breath, your heartbeat slows down. So when you are under stress, that is why you do box breathing, because you hold, your heartbeat slows down. It is difficult to be stressed when your heart is beating slowly. Do you notice that? It is difficult to be stressed when your heart is beating slowly. Stress means fast heart rate, fast breathing rate. You try to bring it down with practice. So try this. Let me know how it worked for you. Initially, it was difficult. I'm just trying to see if I can answer a couple of questions. We breathe in via nose and breathe out via nose or mouth. So when you are doing a practice in the morning, you can try to breathe in through the mouth, breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. But you cannot, it is only during that 5 minutes that you can practice. But when you live your life, automatically whatever practices you've been doing, your muscle memory will start using that itself. But in practice, you can do that. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. Yes, Lakshmi, thank you for giving the technical terms to it. Okay, more about chewing. Maybe you can connect with me later. We can talk a lot about that. My grandmother used to say, chew for 32 times. Your grandmother, see, our grandmothers knew everything, but we used to question them. Are, what is the basis for this? Chumma, you keep saying something. No, they didn't say something. They were told that because from their grandmothers. And somewhere the why was lost. We forgot why. And we started questioning everything. I'm trying to help you understand, Brahmari Pranayama releases nitric oxide. Thank you, Aarti. It does. Brahmari Pranayama is a very potent technique to increase the nitric oxide. See, again, I'm telling you, you can go through months of courses and become an expert in that. But if you're like me, I am a normal guy. I want to lead a normal life. Tell me 5 minutes what I can do. I just told you that. I've given you enough information to tell you why you have to take it seriously. I've given enough information for you to start implementing something for tomorrow. But for now, after the session, 4-7-8, go to bed. Have a good night's sleep, guys. Thank you for listening to me. And one last thing before I wind up. I am doing an experience on breathing in the second part of this month. Only 20 people first as a pilot, because 20 minutes is not good enough to sort of go into practices and practicing. And, so I want to open it up for all our existing clients first. We will open it up for everyone in due course of time. So if you're keen, please reach out to your coach. They will let me know and I will add you in that experience, and it will be a free experience for sure. And we will have a 5-day experience of We will learn something, we will implement something. My philosophy has always been, tell me the reason why I have to do something, because then I will do it without fail. If you don't tell me the reason, it will look like my mom trying to beat me and trying to tell me why it is good without telling me why I need to do it. And it will never become a habit, guys. It will never become a habit because we think that somebody is forcing us to do it. We want to get to the root cause. We want to understand why, and we are here to tell you all that. uh, I hope you enjoy the session. So next week is Women's Day, and we will bring you another power packed Hello Swasthya session. So to next week we have a very special guest with us. It's Women's Day. It is women's special, but not only for women. Okay. We have Dr. Vidya, who will be here live. Who is Dr. Vidya? Dr. Vidya is the sister of my wife, so she's a relative. But I'll tell you her credentials. She's a MBBS doctor. She has done her MD from Tata Memorial Hospital, which is the #1 hospital in the country in the field of cancer research. She's an oncopathologist currently holding a very high, very respected position in Narayana Hrudayalaya in Bangalore. And she will be deep diving. My sister, my wife, and her sister will be having a conversation on women's health, PCOD, cancer awareness. Definitely, it will benefit all of us because these are some of the topics. See, when you go to a doctor, you are not going to a doctor to have a chit chat. You are going to a doctor when all hell is broken loose in your house. Health is gone for a toss. Emotionally, we are upset. There is hardly any time. Doctor is also under stress. You are under stress. You can't have a normal conversation. But how about having a conversation when all is well? About things that we need to take care so that we don't reach that place. Today, she was at our house and she was talking about all the biopsies that she does. And she will throw light on what is happening in the market right now as we speak. Why cancer is becoming such a prominent force and what do we need to do about it? What do we need to do to prevent it? So she wanted to give back to the community, and I believe this is a great platform that we have. And that is a beautiful conversation that we will have. We will take in some questions as well. So do log in next week. Invite your family, invite your friends to this session if you find it valuable, because we are investing a lot of time to give you some nuggets that can improve the quality of your life. Hope you appreciate it. And whatever I shared with you today is what I have been practicing over the last many months. So we try to be as authentic as possible. We are not experts in any field, but we live that life and we encourage you to create better habits for yourself. With that, back to Udipa.